So I always try to keep things in perspective for me personally. You know, if somebody gets upset with me, and that's just part of the job that's going to happen, and I realize that. I try to leave that at the office. It doesn't always work, but I said just be thankful for the things that are important in life. Not that work's not, but that be thankful that like I said earlier, can breathe and come to work. So
sure. What are some of the most difficult aspects of leadership and administration where you are?
It gets kind of reach a mundane point sometimes of especially going through the year. You reach June and July, and you're kind of chasing the same rabbit over and over and over, trying to keep it fresh. You have highs and lows. So that's definitely to keep things fresh and focused of why we need to do it. Like I said, the routine gets kind of old sometimes, and sometimes you got to have a heart-to-heart or a come to Jesus or whatever, however you want to term it, of why we're here. So that's definitely one of the most difficult aspects is keeping things fresh. We can do the same job over and over and over, day in and day out.
You lose your focus.
You do. Definitely lose your focus, and I said that's why I go back to the team atmosphere, get everybody on the same page of trying to achieve one goal, get everybody rolling in the same motion, like on a rowboat. That
the question is, what administrative advice would you offer for administrative leaders of the future?
Work hard. Definitely work hard. I think learn your team, and like I said, personally for me, this is my philosophy, lead by example. Is a big key of it, and I also think learning your team, like I said earlier, people like public praise, private praise. Some react better to discipline and such. And I remember that goes back to growing up watching Rick Pitino coach at UK. I remember him talking about some players react well to you got to just stay on them.
Right.
And they react well. Some other players, if you're disciplined on them constantly, they go the other way. They just kind of curl up into a ball and don't perform. So as far as a leader, I think you got to be able to read your people and see what motivates them.
Yeah.
And convert that to a team atmosphere to where we're all trying to achieve the same goal. So I think that's very important to be able to understand individuals' personalities and get them on the same page and mesh everybody together. Would be the biggest piece of advice I think I can do is create a team atmosphere, so to say, and know how to coach that team individually.
Yeah. You have all of your workers are obviously paid. It's a organization where you're able to pay. My organization is volunteer, so it's two different worlds there. Because right now I'm the only paid staff, and I hope that's going to change someday. But even dealing with paid staff, do you find it difficult to get people to do certain jobs at times?
It is. I think it goes back to knowing what the people are willing to do, and in your instance, you're looking at value in it for them, and they want to be there. You've got to create an atmosphere where they want to be there. And like I said, I think it goes back to having a common goal. You got to know what you're working towards. If you just have people showing up just to be showing up, you're not going to achieve the goals you need to, and they're going to lose the interest, and so on and so forth. So I think being able to create a common purpose and a common goal, and give updates on our progress. They'll say reach this goal, then don't mention it again till the end of the project.
Right.
Most people like to have updates of where we're at and what we need to do, whether we're ahead or behind.
Maybe some of the people listening to this interview are leading volunteers, and since you're also involved in other volunteer organizations, what advice would you give to those of us who lead volunteers besides what you just said? What other keys could you maybe pick out and help us?
Well, like I said, leading volunteers is tough. It's a volunteer army, so to say. Like I said, if they don't want to do it, there's not a whole lot you can do it from an authoritative standpoint. Right. So you have to do it all by leadership.
Right.
Personally, I'll try to make it fun. And don't make it to where they're going to dread doing whatever project they're working on. Try to have fun and lighthearted, and also if I'm stressed, I try not to show that unless I need to for whatever reason. But normally, I try not to. I personally just try to put that aside and worry about that later. Because if they see the leader stressing, most of the time people don't think, well, this ain't going well. So I definitely try to hide that. But with volunteers, it's tough, but you can usually get you a good core of volunteers, kind of a nucleus to build around, so to say, and definitely keep them intact the best you can. Like with any team, paid or unpaid, if you keep a good nucleus around and keep everybody informed, a lot of times you will achieve.
For leading volunteers, then you would say the culture of that organization, if it's a volunteer organization, the culture of that organization is very important.
Oh, definitely.
To leading them.
I definitely think so. Like I said, if it's more of a job to them, they're not going to react well and probably not participate, or if they're there, they shouldn't be there. Their heart's not in it.
Right.
Like I said, make it valuable for them and see the common purpose of them and be able to relate to them individually to their core values and why they're here and why it's important.
Yeah.
Is definitely very important there. But I think culture is a big part of it in anything, whether it's work or non-work related.
Yeah.
So if you're not having fun, it's probably not worth doing. If you don't enjoy the ride somewhat, there's going to be ups and downs in anything. But you got to be able to enjoy the ride, or to me, it's not worth doing it because life's just too short. If you have fun, or don't see the purpose in it, it's not worth doing it. So you got to be able to relate that to your teammates or volunteers or whatever you have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, Scott, I really appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And taking this time to share with us your leadership knowledge and experience. I have thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
Same here.
And I'm sure we've learned something today. So I just want to end the interview and just show our appreciation for you and your time and taking your valuable time to come up and share this with us.
More than happy to be here.
Okay, God bless you.